After trying so many different dumb phones, I find that this one, even though it was originally not a dumb phone, is probably the best one I've used yet. I'm using my BlackBerry Q10 as my daily driver in 2024. Even though this phone came out in 2013, I still think it's relevant in 2024. First, this device has an amazing design factor. Besides the screen, the QWERTY keyboard, and the metal and plastic housing, this device just feels good in the hands. The screen itself is 3.1 inches AMOLED display. And this display in 2024 still looks great. Even when watching YouTube videos or browsing photos, this display really looks good to the eyes. As somebody who's visually impaired, I find that LCD screens are a little bit harsh on the eyes, but the AMOLED works great. Now, the form factor for the 3.1 inch gives you a 1-to-1 ratio with 328 ppi, which is pretty good for a phone from 2013. This device also has a selfie camera with 2 megapixels and a rear-facing camera that has 8 megapixels. The quality definitely takes you back, so if you're taking photos or videos with this device, it will give you a retro feel for sure. But it's not bad. Honestly, when I take videos, as you can see here, a video from the front selfie-facing camera, and a video from the rear-facing camera, it's still quite comprehensible, and yes, it's not the best quality, but it's not the worst out there. One of the reasons I use this phone in 2024 is the expandable memory. So you can use a micro SD card. Be sure that if it's not working, you may need to reformat the card, or you may need to choose a smaller card size. For example, I started out with 128 gigs, and this device did not support that, so I went down to 32 gigs, and that seems to work fine. This enables me to add all of my music, and also enables me to get all of my photos and videos off my BlackBerry and onto another device. Another great feature of this phone is the removable battery, and if you're going to use a SIM card, you'll need a micro SIM for this device. Speaking of SIMs, for the connectivity, I know this is a 3G device, but it also connects to 4G depending on your network and your provider. My phone seems to connect 4G effortlessly with my carrier, so if you're looking to use this device in 2024, be sure that it will be supported by your carrier and provider. I know some users in the US may have difficulties, so again, this is something to check out on your own side. I'm in France, and I'm using this on a 4G network with no issues. Now, I wouldn't define this device necessarily as 100% dumb. I would classify the Q10 in 2024 as more of a feature phone. Whereas when it came out in 2013, this was a full-fledged smartphone and productivity workhorse. Now, since BlackBerry no longer exists and therefore the support for these older devices is no longer withheld, certain applications and certain features are no longer available. For example, if you're used to the BlackBerry Hub, adding all of your accounts is no longer possible. And you'll notice that you can no longer add apps the traditional way through BlackBerry World, or even I tried through the Amazon App Store. I couldn't get it to work for now. But there are other ways you can add applications you might wish to add to your device. Personally, I use this device as a dumbed-down feature phone. So I do have applications such as YouTube, and I have a browser that is the default browser with BlackBerry. The browser works fine. I can connect to services if I need them. For example, if I need to access my email or my Google Drive, I have no problems accessing it with my data and my Wi-Fi. But if you want to go a bit further with your device and make it a little bit of a smarter feature phone, you can add certain APKs. I left the link below, and you can check out if it works for your device. Depending on the device you have and depending on how recent the BlackBerry version is for that device, so the BlackBerry 10 version, you may be able to add certain APKs such as Spotify, a light version of Facebook Messenger, as well as a light version of Facebook or Instagram. On my previous Q10, I was able to add all of these features, as well as an additional browser that is kind of like Chrome, but a lighter version. I got all of these APKs to work fine, and this was great, but when I was switching to a more digital minimalist lifestyle, I wanted to not have these applications on my device. So now on this Q10, I do not have them. But just know it's possible to add some customizations and certain apps if you wish. You can also add additional games if you find them working, but this takes a little bit more research. I would recommend hanging out on the BlackBerry forums. A lot of people are still trying to use their device. Some people are successfully using their devices with no issue and adding apps here and there. The community is quite active with BlackBerry, and myself included. Once you're a BlackBerry addict, you kind of never lose that. And going back to this device has really been nostalgia driven, but also this device still works great in 2024. The call quality, texting, and using the apps that I need, especially from a digital minimalism perspective, I couldn't ask for a better device. One of the main features, of course, is the QWERTY keyboard. This keyboard still is the best keyboard I've ever used on a BlackBerry device. I know some people have preferences for their devices, but this one is my favorite because the keys just feel so strong and sturdy, and the key travel is easy, and overall it is just a well-built keyboard. Again, I love this keyboard even compared to similar ones in the series, for example, the Q5 and the Q20, the BlackBerry Classic. I still prefer the Q10 over all of these devices because it's just so minimalist and it just works so well. I did have the BlackBerry Priv at one time, and I love that device because you could scroll with the keyboard. Obviously, the Q10 doesn't have this feature, but even so, the gestures of this device still ring true to today's modern technology. For example, if you're comparing BlackBerry 10 operating system to the newest Android or even the iOS devices, the gestures to swipe up, to exit and switch applications are still used in devices today. This device was so ahead of its time that it still works in 2024 because it kind of has the same gestures and usage. I also like this device as somebody who is visually impaired. Having physical keys and being able to modify the accessibility settings to meet my visual needs has really helped a lot. And again, the AMOLED display is really easy on my eyes compared to maybe older LCD screens. Now, as far as the battery life is concerned, this device is great. I get easily a few days with moderate usage, and if it's just in standby mode, I'm pretty sure I can get almost up to a week. This device, again, has a removable battery, so if the battery life isn't great for you, feel free to replace the battery, or maybe carry an extra battery around if you're a heavy power user. Overall, this device in 2024 is my dream dumb phone. QWERTY keyboard. It connects to the internet for what I need it for, and it just looks great. I mean, this device was really well designed, and I still think it works perfectly in 2024. If you like videos like this and want to see more about BlackBerry devices, I am a BlackBerry addict and I have a few of them lying around. Please feel free to comment below on your experience using a BlackBerry if you're using one today, and thank you for watching. See you soon.